In the first tab in Homework 9, the scenario is asking you to create a correlation matrix, and it's going to describe all of the relationships among the quantitative variables. So instead of just looking at, for instance, age and credit hours, we want to look at how age, credit hours, Instagram, naps, siblings, organized, and student all interact with each other, and we can do it all at once. So to do this, we will go over to our data analysis. We will run correlation, and then it's going to ask us what we want to use. So our input range is going to come from the survey data. And for this, we actually want to use all of this, but not quite all of it. So we want to consider the gender, the age, the credit hours, all the things that I mentioned before. But as you know, or we'll find out, when you do more advanced statistical analysis like we're doing with correlation and regression, you can't put something in like male or female or colors or brands or makes or models of cars, things like that. Those are qualitative variables. We need to put them into quantitative variables. So if you remember, we did a whole bunch of times we binary encoded data. So in this case, we have taken male and made it equal to 1 and female and made it equal to 0. And the whole reason we did the binary encoding is so that we can do things like this. So we are actually going to select all of the columns except the gender where it says male and female, and instead we're going to use the binary encoded data, the zeros and ones. So select that entire section, all of that data without the first column. I think I did the labels in the first row. I should have. Yes, I did. Okay, and my output range is now going to go back to my yellow cell that's designated for the output. Yes, that's okay. And now what this will do for me is it will put all of the different correlations together, so all of these relationships. So I can see how naps and gender matter. Okay, so naps and gender are here. Let's say if you have higher credit hours, do you take more naps or fewer naps? All right, well, there's not much of a correlation. It's pretty weak because it's 0.03. Okay, so this enables you to read all of these different combinations of the relationships. Now, you may be wondering how we interpret this male column, because really we want to compare males and females and see what the difference is between those two groups. So when we go back to the data, we can see that males were 1 and females are 0. So we go back to our data, there is no female in here because by default 0 is just kind of the base. So when we're comparing females to males, we're going from 0, which is the base, to 1. And then we have to look at the actual value. So if we assume females are 0, when we increase to a male, or when we go switch to male category, we can see that the credit hours actually decrease by 0.15. So this means every time we compare females and males, we go from 0 and then it's negative. So every time it looks in these that we start, or in this section, sorry, credit hours through student, males are actually going to be less. The one place it increases is going to be here under the age. So when we compare females to males, males actually increase compared to the age and then decrease on all the rest of the variables. Now you'll use that information and what you know about correlation coefficients to answer these questions over here. Keep in mind that for this first one, and this happens sometimes, some of the question got cut off. So if you just click on a question, if you can't see all of it, it actually says reference the cell with the answer. So that's what you'll do in this one. Conversely, if for some reason you can't see answers or questions, go ahead and extend the width of a column and you'll see that it does pop up. So you can always click, if you have an incomplete question, click on the cell and you can read it up in the formula bar.